YouTube family, it's Natalie. It's Hotshot Adventures. I'm on the road. Forgive the lighting. It's dark as shit in Nebraska. Okay, you guys. It's not late, but it's super dark. So we're doing the best that we can with this in-cab truck lighting here. So just bear with me. I hope it's not too distracting. You guys, if you were wondering about air ride trailers, air ride Hotshot trailers, is it worth it? Is the cost, going to make up for, higher paying loads on the back end? Some pros and cons to air ride trailers that maybe you knew, maybe you did not know. Some tips and tricks if you guys are interested in purchasing an air ride trailer, or if you have just recently purchased an air ride trailer and you are not sure how to operate the thing. I am going to also go over some tips and some tricks. I have my own air ride trailer behind me, right? And I've been running it. I purchased it used in 2021, and it's now 2025. So I've had her for a few years now. And I had to learn all the hard way about everything about the trailer, because I just wanted it, so I bought it, and then I learned about it, because you have to learn by doing. So hopefully this video will help you guys to decipher whether you want to purchase one or not. They're very expensive right now. All trailers are expensive right now. Air ride especially are expensive. This video was inspired because you guys know in my last video I ran from Texas to California, and one of the loads, one of the 3 partials that I put on that run on the trailer was an air ride only, must be air ride load. I have a little bit of a clip of that load, so we're gonna see that in just a second, and then we'll come back here and we'll just tear the whole subject apart. Air ride trailers, pros and cons, tips and tricks. Is it worth it? Are the brokers gonna pay you more? Are you gonna make more money? Let's get into all of that in just a second. So this is the table at delivery. I loaded it in Texas. I delivered it in Southern California. I loaded it around Dallas. It was 10 foot long, and it was 2,500 pounds. It was paying $1.10 per mile. So for the space that it took up, it was a decent paying load. I would have liked to see more. The broker had it posted for $1,400, and I asked him for $1,650, and we settled at $1,500, which equaled to about $1.10 per mile. Now at the delivery, at the pickup, everything was fine. It had to be tarped. It came out from the warehouse pretty wrapped up. It looked like a table with some stuff on the top, but it was all wrapped up. So I didn't think anything of it. I tarped it. And then it wasn't till I was leaving the shipper that they were like, "Oh yeah, it's about $70,000." And then of course, then I start, being not nervous about it, but being a little bit nervous about it. So when I got to the delivery, I insisted that we take the shrink wrap off as soon as they unloaded it, because I wanted to double check that everything was fine with it, and take video and take pictures to make sure that the table was delivered in good working order. The thing had a big old computer on it, and it was a table that cuts computerized cuts glass. It went to a glass company. All right, so you guys saw that video. I thought it was decent, a decent partial. But was it really worth it? I mean, I don't know. You guys will have to decide for yourselves. That one was just the inspiration of this video. I know a few guys that have air ride trailers. Namely, the first one that comes to mind is Jefferson. I've dispatched and worked with Jefferson for about 1.5 years now. He purchased a 40-foot, air ride trailer. I think he likes his trailer very much. And then Alvin has been running for about 4 or 5 months now. Alvin also has an air ride trailer, and I know a couple of other gentlemen as well who have air ride trailers. I'm going to use Jefferson and myself as examples, because that's the closest examples that I have when it comes to dispatching an air ride trailer. Jefferson has probably touched, in the 1.5 years that I've worked with him, probably 5 loads that were off the open market, off of the load board, and that were specifically air ride only, Hotshot air ride only loads. Did they pay a significantly higher rate? Not necessarily. Is there a significantly higher risk? 100%. Okay, 100%. Alvin as well. He's been running for 4 or 5 months. I think he has yet to touch an air ride only load. Now again, take that with a grain of salt, okay? And me too. I have probably only touched a handful, maybe a handful of loads since I've had this 40-foot PJ. Again, take that all with a grain of salt, you guys, okay? Because I am talking about open market freight. Now, that is very different, okay? That's very different than if you had a direct customer that had freight that only could be shipped on an air ride trailer. Then, yes, you are probably going to make a very pretty penny, maybe in the $3 to $4 to more range per mile range. The thing is, if you're just starting out, to purchase an air ride trailer, it's a significantly higher cost than just purchasing a standard 40-foot trailer, right? Is that cost gonna be equaled out by what you find on the load board? In my opinion, the general answer is no. I've had this PJ for 4 years, have run a handful of loads, okay? I don't have a direct customer that requires air ride, specifically air ride only trailers. Same thing with Jefferson. Same thing it's looking like with Alvin. They are a specialty type trailer. They're not your standard trailer. An air ride trailer is not your standard Hotshot trailer. And in my opinion, if any of you guys are starting out, I would not suggest to purchase an air ride trailer right off the bat, because you don't have a customer base yet. You don't know if you need it yet. So it's going to cost you $8,000-$10,000 more if you buy a brand new one, but you don't know if you're going to make that money back on the back end or not. So in my opinion, the right person to purchase a Hotshot air ride trailer is somebody who has already found their niche, has already found a customer base or a couple customers who require an air ride trailer, or if a carrier, a Hotshot carrier, has gotten in good with a freight broker who says, hey, you know, we work really well together. You happen to live wherever, in Charlotte, for example, and I have 3 customers. I would love to use you for those customers, but those customers have air ride only freight. So if you ever wanted to upgrade your trailer to an air ride trailer, I could keep you busy and I can, you know, get you XYZ amount of money per mile, whatever. Then I would say absolutely 100% go for it. But to start off the bat, just you don't know what to buy, you're not sure, you're going to start Hotshot this year in 2025, you just want to buy a trailer. So the trailer, you know, the trailer manufacturers, the trailer dealerships, they see you coming and they're like, oh, well, there's this one for 25, or you can get this air ride, and the air ride is so fancy and so wonderful and so excellent, and it's only 35,000 instead of 25,000. You know, if you're not sure, if you haven't watched videos like this, they could just be upselling you, and you won't necessarily make any more money. That's my general opinion. I do also see Hotshot team loads on the open market on the load board. Now they pay very, very well, but they are few and far between. So I kind of feel like air ride trailers and team Hotshot loads are in the same little bubble. Okay, you see them every once in a while and they pay really nice, but do you see them enough on the open market to constitute, you know, having a team driver full time, or to constitute having an air ride trailer full time? Let's go outside and I'm gonna show you guys my compressor, my trailer, and show you the components of it and how it works. All right, so let's show you guys, right, what is an air ride trailer. Obviously it's got airbags. Okay, airbag. You've got a dump valve. Dump your air, dump your moisture that builds up. Airbag in the front. This is what mine's looks like. The newer ones don't look like this, all the guts hanging out and everything, but this is what mine looks like. Brand new battery. You've got the silver thing in the back. That's your air compressor. This is your main fill up. You've got a PSI pressure shut off gauge thingy. I can't think of the real name of it, but it shuts off at 120. And then I have a second valve here because I have a retractable front axle. So that's what that looks like, you guys. That's air ride. It's you don't have any suspension parts, okay? Your airbags are your suspension. So when one fails, you have a big problem. Or if you get an airline cut, you also have a big problem. If one airline is cut, they're all pretty much linked together. So it's a problem. You also have a height adjuster. I have a height adjuster on the other side. You can't see it. Airbags are made of rubber, right? They're made of rubber. There's my back airbag. Airbags. They're made of rubber. Rubber does not last forever, so airbags need to be replaced. Airlines need to be checked. It's a different ride, of course, as well. Let me get in the truck and then we'll talk some more about it. So hopefully that, helps to kind of show you guys a little bit of what an air ride trailer looks like. An air ride trailer has no suspension. The suspension is the bags. The bags are the suspension. You don't have leaf springs. You don't have hanger bolts or U-bolts or none of the equalizers. You don't have none of that stuff, okay? You've got the bags. There are a lot of airlines. They're all hooked up to the compressor. They're all hooked up to that whole system. When you have a leak, it's usually not in the line itself. It's usually at the T junction or the L. It's usually at a junction. Or it's a bag. The bags are rubber, as I just said before. They are rubber. All rubber components have what I would consider a short lifespan. So probably every 2 to 3 years, you want to be changing out your airbags depending on the area that you run and the area where you live. Some areas are going to give the rubber bags a little bit longer lifespan, and other areas are going to rot the bags out and have them crack. And as soon as they start to crack, then they're going to start to leak air. And if you have a catastrophic failure on an airbag, you're pretty much screwed unless you have a spare bag, which I strongly suggest if you have an air ride trailer that you get at least one of each size, however many you have. I have 2 different sizes on my trailer. So if you have 2 different sizes, I strongly suggest that you order at least one of each and carry them with you and have the tools that you can swap them out. Because if you don't, your whole trip is just immediately put pretty much at a standstill. You never want to run your air ride trailer with no air in it, okay? You always want to air it up. Now for me, I have the shutoff switch is at 120 psi. For me personally, I feel like that's a little bit, that 120 pounds of air pressure is a little bit too much. I have played with the trailer. Depending on the load will constitute how much air I have in the bags. 120 seems a little bit stiff to me. It feels a little bit stiff to me, which makes the bumps really hard, okay? In my opinion. I like to run my truck, generally speaking, I like to run the trailer with about 80 pounds of pressure in it, okay? And that's just me. You always want to make sure, that's another thing, you guys, with the Rams. It's my understanding, generally speaking, with all of the Rams, that they have the hot wire line already plugged in from the truck batteries to the pigtail. So when you hook in your pigtail of your air ride trailer, you're hooked into the batteries of the truck, which means your air compressor is on a battery. But if it doesn't have, that battery needs to be charged, okay? So with the Fords, I had to learn the hard way that I did not have a hot wire on my 7-way at the rear of the truck for the pigtail. I had to specifically run a hot wire from the battery to the back on both of my trucks so that they would charge the battery for the air compressor for the air ride system. So that's another, you guys, that's another little added expense if you have a Ford. I have had a 2016, I've had a 2019, I've had a 2020, and I've had a 2022 F350. All of them were F350s, and all of them had to be hot wired for the air compressor for the air ride trailer. And you always have to have that battery in the compressor. That battery has to be charging, or else you're gonna air down the bags and then air them back up, and the battery's gonna be dead one day, and you're gonna have to go to AutoZone and spend another $120 and purchase another, marine cycle, whatever, deep cycle battery. And you'll go through a couple batteries and then you'll realize that, you need a hot wire. That's what happened to me. So I like to run, like I said, at about 80 pounds PSI. Things can go wrong, okay? Things can go wrong with an air ride trailer. Namely, like I said, air leaks, right, at your connection points, and if the bags, have cracks in them, those can fail. So keep spare bags on you and have the knowledge to repair them, right, or to swap them out, because you never know when one's going to go bad, and it's always going to be at an inconvenient time of day or the weekend, and you can't find the bags and you can't find a mechanic and da-da-da-da. So just keep that crap on you and you'll be fine. Now, I feel like you would think that with an air ride trailer, the ride would be smoother. And I personally think, generally speaking, it's a little bit more bouncy. Now, again, it always depends upon the load that you have on your trailer and what you're setting your trailer to as far as PSI. So you can kind of play with that, if you have one of those trailers. Never run your trailer with less than, at least run it with 40 pounds. That's at least my experience with the PJ. At least 40 pounds of pressure. If you don't, then your trailer is going to be squatted down because there's no air in the bag. So the bags are going to be little. Instead of being this big, they're going to be this big, and your tires are going to rub on the frame of the trailer, and you're going to blow tires in no time. So you always want to run air in your trailer. If you can't air up your trailer, don't run it. And you want to play with it. See what pressure, what PSI is best for each individual load. Getting back to the loads, right? A lot of times when there's a load that is air ride required, it is because it is fragile, it is delicate, and it can't withstand harsh bumps in the road, right? So now we come back to, they should be paying you more because it is a higher risk load. And a lot of times the loads that are a little bit more fragile, those loads tend to cost more, okay? Just like the load that I brought from Texas to California. That table had a whole computer system. It was all digital. Like it was a fragile table. That's why it had to go air ride only. And it was a refurbished table, but it was still in the $70,000 range of what the customer purchased it for. So it was very costly. Now, I don't want to hear it, you guys. I have more than $100,000 of cargo insurance, so I was covered. But still, you put one or two, fragile, expensive pieces on your trailer, and then all of a sudden you're over your $100,000 cargo. If you're like me and you have more cargo insurance than that, then hopefully you're okay. But if something goes wrong, it's your butt. So you need to be making sure that you are getting paid more if it is an air ride only load, because it is a higher risk for you. Let's talk about cost really quick. So the bags, you guys, like I said, probably every 2 to 3 years you want to replace your bags so you don't ever have, a complete failure on your bags. I think, don't quote me because I don't remember, but I know I replaced all the bags on this trailer. I want to say the large bags were in about the $200 range, and I have 4 of those. And then the smaller bags were, I don't know, about 150. So when you think about the cost, that's not terrible, right? About $200 per bag. The compressor, I replaced my compressor. That was about a $300 bill. All the wiring, the batteries, I mean, you're not going to blow through batteries so long as you're charging the battery, right? The deep cycle battery is about $120 on AutoZone. You can get them anywhere. So that cost is not bad. What I do like about the air ride trailer, now Jefferson's air ride trailer has the mega ramps, okay? My air ride trailer has 10-foot pull-out ramps. Doesn't matter what kind of ramps you have on your trailer. But what I do like about it is when I was dispatching Jefferson, when it came to loading vehicles, Jefferson, as well as myself, we can both dump our bags, which drops the ass end of the trailer. It drops it down a few inches, like probably 3 or 4 inches. So that is really nice. I was able to get Jefferson was able to get some lower profile vehicles up onto his mega ramps. Even though they're mega ramps, he could dump his bags, and he could get those little bit lower profile vehicles up onto the trailer. So that is pretty nice. And another little tip, you guys, if you do run an air ride trailer, I don't leave my compressor on. I when I'm traveling, I'll drive for 3 or 4 hours, and then I stop to pee or whatever, and I don't leave the compressor on. I turn it on and off when I stop, you know, if I need to, or if I need to adjust the air, or if I need to dump air out. Like I'll do that stuff manually, so that the compressor is not working so much. Like there's really no need, in my opinion, to have it running so that it's constantly filling up to 120 psi all the time. Like I don't see the need for that. And the last tip that I have for you guys is, if you do have an air ride trailer, right, turn your compressor off, or just completely dump your bags when you go to load, especially if it's a heavy load. Don't leave your compressor on, and in my opinion, air down your bags completely, so that it's not putting a lot of additional pressure on your bags. When you load 10 or 12 or 15,000 pounds on your trailer, and your bags are already set, or they're already filled up to 120 psi, once you load that weight, that's going to smush them down and create additional pressure. So I like to, if I'm loading a heavy load, I'll go ahead and just dump the bags, let the shipper load, I'll strap down, and then I'll air up my compressor, I'll air up my bags, you know, after the fact. So same thing, like when you go to pick up a load, don't leave your compressor on, because it's going to constantly, as the shipper is loading, the forklift driver is loading this side or that side of the trailer, the compressor is going to be constantly trying to keep the pressure at a certain psi, whatever you have it set at. And there's really no need to make the system work harder than it needs to. So if you guys have any input, if you guys have air ride trailers and you like them, you don't like them, I want to hear it in the comments. If I missed something, which I probably did because it's late and I'm tired, please share them in the comments as well. You guys be safe out there, take care. And if you have any questions about air ride trailers or anything like that, just leave me a comment and I will get to you guys as soon as I possibly can. Now in the next videos, we're going to start the series of me going from California to the Midwest, and how much money I made, and what kind of loads fell into my lap, which ones were direct customer loads, which ones were off the open market, and we'll go over all that in the next videos to come in the next couple days. You guys be safe, take care, stay warm. I'll talk to you soon.